Hey, welcome back. So we're back with the Suzuki FA50 engine, and I've had a lot of thoughts after discovering that stud pattern is the same as the Honda Express, for example. However, I want to put I got a new set of rings. I want to put the stock piston and cylinder back on and just look at how things fall in terms of where the piston is in relationship to all the ports. So I will go ahead and do that and bring you back. Alright, I brought you back. So here is the old piston. I kind of sanded off all the carbon. It's got new rings. I'm reusing the old circlips, which is never a good idea, but I'm going to be putting, I think, a different piston in this, but this is just for test purposes. And of course, one of the circlips zinged across the room. I know in the general area where it is located, I've just got to find it. That's what happens with these C circlips, but I think I finally stumbled on the best way to install them. I'll be back. Well, shoot, it zinged off somewhere, and I'm not going to spend all day looking for it. I just want to see. I'm going to get new circlips anyways. I just want to see, for our purposes, see where there's one. There's that other one right there. See where these ports lined up. That's all I want to do. I can't seem to tell here. Get these rings lined up. Is that it? Should be right over. Hang on a second. We got to do some fiddling. Well, find out where this ring stop is. These try to, right? Is it up here further? That appears to be it. And there's the other one. Alright. So, we'll be taking this back apart. But for now, let's see if we can get this to slide right on. Whoops. Get on up there. Everything goes dark on me. I can't see. There we go. Alright. Provided I didn't move things, right? Might have moved this bottom one. Let's see. There we go. Just a little bit. There we go. Slide on. Well, they're in there. All right. Getting a little bit of a alright, if it doesn't go on easy, something must be wrong, right? Let's see, pull it out some. Alright, let's take her out and take a look. Something must be wrong. You shouldn't have to force it, right? Yeah, something's wrong. Something's wrong. Double check this and be back. Alright, sometimes we put ourselves through more trouble than we need to. Why do I even need 2 rings on it? I put the ring expander under the second ring, and it turned out it didn't like that. So, for my purposes today, 1 ring is fine. Actually, 0 rings would have been fine. I just want to see where this thing lines up. Let's see here. Hold that forward. In terms of port clearance, yeah, almost. If I can get it to stop right at the bottom there. I don't know if I'll be able to get it to stop. May have to hold that. There we go. Well, what do you know? See if you guys can look inside here with me. It pretty much clears that port. Let's go over to the other side here. The other, you may not be able to, not so much there. So let's take a look. Yeah, oh, the intake ports, no, on the top there, and those, I guess, transfer ports, are those what those are on the sides? Those are not completely open, so we could bump this up. Matter of, do I have it handy? So I just use some spacers and nuts to push that all the way down. And I hone the cylinder. Well, anyways, about probably to get all the ports fully open, we'd have to bump it up about 1 millimeter, I think. And then actually you got the exhaust port. It's going past the exhaust port at bottom dead center. But that would help a lot with making this thing breathe. And then so I'll try to, let me see if I can turn this a little better so people can get a look. You can see it's beyond the exhaust port, just barely at bottom dead center, and then yeah, it's harder to see, but I've got them fully open now, and I bet you that would make a big difference in terms of how it runs. So, darn, I got to get some circlips. But I may go a different direction with this altogether. I've got an idea. And if anybody out there, I had to sand, by the way, there's like a rust buildup where that piston, the rings froze against the cylinder, rusted against the cylinder, so I had to sand that off and then hone it. Suzuki, instead of a CDI, I guess it's the same thing, they use a PEI. But if anybody out there has a CDI, that I could use to test this engine with, and I will return it. That would be wonderful. And then I'll note for the record, you know, I'm not an expert, especially with Suzuki engines, but I'd like to gain some experience with them. And you know, sometimes I say things that aren't 100% accurate, and that comes with just trying to wing it here in front of the camera. And you know, sometimes we just make mistakes. So and sometimes I'm just speculating as well. But the reason I started doing these videos was to you know, help people avoid a lot of the struggles that I went through when I first got into these motorpeds, and hopefully I've been able to do that. Now, you know, when you put yourself out there, there's a small percentage of people who just want to call you to the table on stuff that you might have been speculating on or you weren't 100% sure of, and it seems like that's their reason for being. So, you know, just want to say, sometimes I make mistakes, sometimes I speculate and I'm wrong, but in the end, I'm just trying to help people out there who have this same interest avoid a lot of the heartache and pain that I went through, and hopefully that was achieved to some degree, right? We can only hope. But anyways, I've got some plans for this. I won't reveal them now. I guess one thing I could do, if someone had that PEI unit or CDI unit or whatever for the FA50 and let me borrow it, I could start this engine. Of course, I'd probably have to get some sort of an exhaust as well, which I might be able to do. And then, you know, this stud pattern, which is the same as the Honda, at least the Express stud pattern, is very intriguing as to what the possibilities may be. So we'll just leave it at that. Anyhow, thanks for watching. We'll get back to this soon. A little addendum. I decided to take the stator cover off and see what we had here. And you can see all that, I don't know what it is, rust powder that came out. So not sure exactly what was going on here, but anyways, it's held on by 3 screws, and of course they are all toast, so I've got to drill all 3 of those out in order to remove the stator and clean this up and evaluate, well, maybe even replace that seal as well, but it's going to be a little bit of work to get there. I'll keep you updated on the progress. Try to hold the camera steady here. Alright, after much gnashing of teeth, cursing, carrying on, I managed to drill out all 3 of those screws. Those Phillips screws that Suzuki, in their wise discretion, decided to use to attach the stator to the case. And as you can see, we've got some case screws on the bottom there that are all rusted to heck, I guess we'll use that choice of word. So I'm not sure how this got so rusty. I guess obviously it spent quite a bit of time outside, but still, for water to get in there, I don't know. Anyways, I think I'll replace that seal while I'm at it. It's some goofy size seal. I'll see if we can find it out there for not unreasonably expensive. And clean out this mess, and I'm just going to get a whole new piston and rings and install that and go from there. So we'll bring you back.